Yep. Y'all already know. Y'all already know, man. It's King Ade with the Wizards Review. You know? And before we go any further, you know, New York, big city of dreams. But everything in New York ain't always what it seems. You know what I mean? You feel me? You know? Got the win under a lot of tough circumstances. You know what I mean? We got the win out there, though. Went to the city. Back on the East Coast. After the big win in Utah and then not playing against Brooklyn. You know what I mean? We in Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? Biggest show in town, you know what I mean? We was out there tonight, man. We handled our business, you know what I mean? We handled our business. It was a great game, great win. I'm feeling really good about what I saw tonight. Man, and again, like last game, there was some more revelations that occurred tonight that we got to talk about, man. We got to talk about. But before we move any further, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff I like tonight, you know what I mean? A lot of stuff I like tonight. But we got to start with the things I dislike since we won the game. You know what I mean? We got to start with the negatives and then go into the positives, man. So let's just get right into it, man. Off jump, man. They jumped out. The Knicks jumped out on us, 8-0 run. It looked ugly quick, like real quick. It looked ugly. Like, hold up, what's going on? What's going on? We gonna let them jump on us like that? You know what I mean? So I didn't like how we started the game at all. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like how we started the game. But fortunately, it was brief. It was a brief, a brief. We just weren't ready. You know what I mean? They caught us off guard. We got ourselves together, though. So it's all good. But I didn't like that. I didn't like Julius Randle tonight. For the most part, he didn't have a good game. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, and we're going to get into that. For the most part, he didn't have a good game. But in the first quarter, there were some sequences where we just had players that shouldn't have been guarding him. You know what I mean? Like, it was just total mismatches. He was taking advantage of it. So I didn't like that. But they shored that up, and he was not a factor for most of the game. He did become a factor, some in the fourth. You know what I mean? He did a little bit in the fourth quarter, but for the most part, the rest of the game, you know what I mean? We did a real good job on him. So, but I didn't like the times where he was scoring too easily. We had the wrong players on him, so I didn't like that. Burks hit a few threes. You know what I mean? He was hitting some big threes. They needed those threes. You know what I mean? They needed those threes. He hit some big threes. So I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all. But fortunately, there was another player on that team. We're going to get to him that went crazy. But really, it was only really, and even his threes, yeah, he hit some big threes, but just thinking about the game, he really wasn't, he just he had a good night from the three-point line, but fortunately, it wasn't enough for us to be like he would be the reason why we would have lost the game. You know what I mean? He wasn't like that, like much of a factor like that, but he did hit some timely threes. So, we had to shore that up. There's some young bull. Last thing, Sims came on and started, doing a little bit. That's been happening a little bit too much lately. Couple times, players I never heard of. Well, not really too many. It was, I recall against Detroit. I had a flashback of the Detroit game where some no names, people I just never heard of, just come in the game and just start balling like they've been in the league for 10 plus years. You know what I mean? So I don't like that at all. I don't like when dudes we ain't never heard of come in and feel like they could score and start doing things, thinking that they might get more playing time because they played well against us. Nah, we got to shut that down. We got to end that. If we ain't never heard of him when he got on the floor, we should never hear of him when he gets off the floor. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get better at letting players that we never heard of get any type of shine. You know what I mean? So, but again, he wasn't really a factor. He wasn't a factor. So I'm not going to overreact, but I noticed that because I never heard of him. But he was balling for a little bit in the second quarter. Speaking of the second quarter, the ending of the second quarter, I mean, we started the game slow, but we weathered our way back. And in the second quarter, we were playing well until towards the end of the second quarter, where they went on a major run. they took a 6-point lead into halftime. You know what I mean? Now, the big reason and one of the big things I didn't like tonight, man, but he proved that he is not done. We're talking about Kemba Walker, y'all. We're talking about Kemba Walker. You know what I mean? And I know New York fans, I know. Y'all Madison Square Garden, the Bull, Kemba Walker got benched. Thibodeau said it was over. He couldn't play defense. You know? Y'all had some players hurt. All this corona stuff going on. He comes back and has a big game. Hollywood. It almost was a Hollywood ending. It almost was a Hollywood ending. Except one thing. Y'all got the L. You know what I'm saying? Big city of dreams. You know what I mean? Y'all dreamed of that win. You know what I'm saying? But no. But he had a great game. We couldn't stop him. Unfortunately, nobody else could step with him. Nobody else could ball with him on the Knicks. You know, like I said, Randall tried to do a little bit in the fourth quarter. But I'm on Twitter, man. And look, I like our fan base, our Wizards fan base on Twitter. We got a good thing going on and stuff like that, man. But the Knicks Twitter, they got the most lit Twitter I've seen so far this year. I mean, this is the first game we played this year against them. But just watching their Twitter timeline, it's like 3 times more activity than the Wizards timeline. I'm going to keep it real. Now, you know, it's New York. It's the Knicks. You know, they're legendary, all that. So we understand that. But just to witness it, you know what I mean? It was entertaining because when they're high, they're high. You know what I'm saying? When Kemba was going off looking crazy, they thinking they're going to win. They thinking that it was already over. You know what I mean? They feeling good. You can just feel it through Twitter. I'm just looking at them, you know what I'm saying? But then when they down, Kemba Walker off the floor, reality starts to set in. Randall had an all-star season last year, so a lot of people thought he was going to build on that. But, you know, y'all Knicks fans, I got to keep it real. Y'all are real objective, you know what I'm saying? He ain't it. I didn't say that. Y'all did. Y'all told me that Julius Randle ain't it, and he's the problem. You know what I mean? So, but Kemba, man, he went crazy, man. Let me make sure. How many points he had tonight? Man, I think he had like 44. Was it 44? 44 points tonight. 8 assists, 9 rebounds. He had an excellent game. Tonight. I gotta give him credit. He had 23 points in the second quarter alone. Finished the first half with 28 points. Finished the game with 44 points. So we did better job on defense on him in the second half because he didn't score 56 or more. You know what I'm saying? He had 28 in the first half, so he only had 16 in the second half. You know what I mean? And that's still good. That's still good numbers. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't enough. We got the win, but I didn't like that he went off. But he had something to prove. He had a chip on his shoulder. And I was saying this about our team with our starters not playing well, that maybe you might have to bench somebody to wake them up. That's what Thibs did, man. Now, granted, it's because, you know, Rose hurt. Like I said, a lot of COVID. So they had to play him. They had to put him on the floor, but he made the most of his opportunity. You know what I mean? And you got to give him credit for that. He made the most of his opportunity, and it make like a lot of fans again watch New York Knicks Twitter timeline coming for Thibs' neck, coming for him. Like, what is you doing? How could you bench him? What were you thinking? Things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was entertaining. You know what I mean? But, you know, I got to give him credit. He had a great game, but it wasn't enough. You know, we don't have, like I said, I've said this in multiple live streams, man. Our 2 biggest weaknesses on our team right now is at the point guard position, especially defensively. If there's a good to an elite point guard, they going to have a field day on us because we don't have a defender at the point guard position. We don't have a defender. But there was a revelation tonight, and again, we're going to get to that on the things that I liked. But I think y'all guys already know what I'm talking about. I'll give y'all a hint, though. It's defense. On-ball defense, you know what I'm saying? So, but we don't have a point guard that could play the defense. So, you know, we got to find another player. Fortunately, I think we got that guy that can play defense against good to elite level point guards. You know what I mean? And then also our front court. You know what I mean? Our front court, again, I like Montrez and I like Gafford, but they're small. That's a small front court. So if we play a big team, a team with an elite center, or at least a good center to an elite center, we're going to have problems. Maybe we might have a little bit of help when Bryant gets back, but those are our biggest weaknesses, game in and game out. Knowing we're going to go into the game with these weaknesses, and there's really nothing we can do about it because that's just our roster. So, yeah. And then the last thing I didn't like, man, and we're going to get to him because there's a lot of good that I liked about what I saw from Dinwiddie tonight. I liked what I saw from Dinwiddie tonight. But those free throws, brother, point guard position, missing free throw after free throw after free throw in clutch situations. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Get your head in the game, brother. Get your head in the game. You know what I mean? You can't miss free throws like that. You know what I mean? But you had an excellent game. Man, missing all those free throws. I mean, I would gave it an A+ game. I know it's going to at least a B because he played very well tonight. He played very well minus the free throws. But missing free throws. But it's not turnovers because like I told people, if you got more than 3 turnovers, I can't give you higher than a C+. I don't care if you score 40. Maybe if you score like 55 points and has 7 assists or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 45 points. Okay, 45. Something like that. I might give you a B-, but turnovers are the worst. But missing free throws, especially when you miss the free throws, and missing them multiple times throughout the game, you got to get the motive a little bit, but not as much as having too many turnovers. So I'll give him a B+ type game. You know what I mean? But he missed too many free throws. He got to work on that. So that's all I dislike, man. That's all I dislike tonight. And a lot of it, again, occurred in the first half with the Knicks. Kemba Walker, one player that had an outstanding night. You know what I mean? A couple of players hitting big shots throughout the game, but not doing enough to keep their team, give them the win. You know what I mean? So, but let's talk about everything I like, though, man. There's a lot of stuff that I like tonight, man. First and foremost, man, Bradley Beal did not play tonight. Coronavirus, health and safety protocols. You know what I mean? So he didn't play tonight. Aaron Holiday got the start solid. So that's one thing. I'll just say that now. One thing I like tonight, Aaron Holiday, just every time he starts for Beal, he gives solid minutes. Like, I like our depth at point guard, minus the fact that none of them are really good defenders. You know what I'm saying? But I do like the versatility of our point guard position because they do give us something. You know what I mean? They all have something they bring to the table. And for Holiday to be able to come in and start and play great minutes and play some Bradley Beal is definitely shows our, an example of our depth. So I definitely like that, man. But our ball movement tonight, man, throughout the game, it looked like, again, we saw flashes starting in the Utah game, gaining their confidence back, looking like the team that we saw earlier in the season. And it looks like it carried over. For them not to play on Tuesday, they had a long break from their last game playing Utah on Saturday night all the way to Thursday night. They had a long break. And for them to come out in the biggest stage in NBA in Madison Square Garden and to play well, pass the ball, crisp offense without our best player, it showed our depth, man. It really showed our depth, and I really liked what I saw tonight, man. So our ball movement was great, and what that did was it led to great shots, and we had a lot of three-point shots tonight. This year, we've been weak from the three-point line, you know what I mean? But tonight, if you didn't watch the league and you just watched us tonight and based what you thought about us based on what you saw tonight, you would think we was an elite three-point shooting team. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how we look tonight, man. We were just hitting threes. Everybody was hitting threes, man. So, again, man, confidence, ball movement, getting back to those fundamentals. We had a funk in the season, man. A lot of people already was ready to throw in the towel like it's over. You know what I mean? What we saw was a fluke. Again, the Wizards weren't as good as the 10-3 start, but they weren't as bad as the last games before the last 2 games. You know what I mean? They weren't as bad as what they've shown. They're getting stuff together. They're learning how to play with each other. Coach is making the right adjustments, getting the rotation in order. There's a lot of things going on. So, you don't want to give too much of a benefit of the doubt, but you got to be realistic at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So, you got to balance that out somehow, some way, man. But just seeing them hitting threes with the good ball movement, I definitely like what I saw tonight, man. And then mentioning Dinwiddie, man. And we're going to get back to Dinwiddie, man. But Dinwiddie played so much better tonight, man. He had a great game tonight, minus the free throw missing. 21 points, 12 assists, 7 rebounds. Look, I've been saying he's been in the slump. There's no doubt about it. But he is still our best point guard. Like, he's better than Neto and better than Holiday if they all playing at their peak. If they all played well tonight. All 3 point guards played well tonight. The best point guard tonight was Spencer Dinwiddie, minus the free throws. And honestly, if we want to move forward and make any type of noise in the playoffs in the East, Spencer Dinwiddie has to be a big part of it. Period. And hopefully this game is a catalyst to moving forward and hoping that he just get his confidence back. Again, it seems like he plays better. Well, it don't even seem. He does play better when Bradley Beal's not on the floor so far this season. You know what I mean? But I like what I saw from him tonight, man. Most definitely. Also, man, Kispert, man. Again, they went up 8-0, 8-0 run. It started to look crazy. But out of all players that we have on our team, Kispert hit the first 5 points of the game. The rookie. Ended the first quarter with 7 points. Had a career high 20 points tonight. He just showing the potential that I've been seeing. I'm not gonna lie. When we first I've been saying this. When we first drafted him and I saw him, I didn't watch college basketball like that. So I'll admit, man, I judged the book by its cover. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, why don't we draft him? Like I knew anything about him. I was hating, yo. You know what I'm saying? But once I watch, then I'm objective. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, he does have IQ. You saw that off jump when he first started playing. He has IQ. He seems to always make the right play. Always seems to make the right pass, the simple pass, not to try to do, just don't be a liability on the court. You know what I mean? Not all the time you're going to be an asset, but do not be a liability. Just be neutral. And I feel like he's done a great job of at least being neutral throughout the season, straight up and down. You know what I mean? And there's been times I've been upset that he wasn't getting in the game. They was putting Bertans in before putting Kispert in, when Kispert was showing that he could do more. But tonight, he started, and he played extremely well tonight, man. You could just see the confidence. And then you know what else I started to think while I was watching him play? Was that, he was our first round pick this year. The year before, Denny was our first round pick. The year before that, Rui was our first round pick. Quietly, the Wizards have had 3 consecutive quality drafts. Pick quality, rotation players that have potential to become star. We're going to get to Denny. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what, if you didn't get the clue when I was talking about the things I didn't like, Denny, he's the real deal, y'all. He's the real deal, y'all. And he's only going to get better. But he is the real deal. Everybody was saying he had the potential when going into the draft. You know what I'm saying? But he's the real deal. So just to see that we had 3 great drafts, had 3 quality players. I saw Rui on the bench tonight dressed, but he didn't play. So it's just when he gets back, that just adds more firepower to what we have. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it. He was hype. He was into the game, cheering his teammates on, give him dap. You know what I mean? We have some good young pieces, man. We have some good young pieces. So I definitely like that. Also, what I like tonight, man, our defensive intensity throughout the game, yo. We, especially starting the game, like I said, they went up 8-0, but we settled down, and once we started to settle down, there were times where we played excellent defense, especially in the fourth quarter when it was most important. We played some excellent, stand out, close the game. We're going to win this game defense tonight, you know what I mean? And I definitely like that. Early in the game, Kuzma started Randall's problems. You know what I mean? Because like I said, Randall, initially he was getting matched up on the wrong players and taking advantage. But Kuzma got on him initially and started to D him up and that's where the bad game he had started, with Kuzma getting on him. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely like that. But then, you know, they started to also run the double team on him. You know what I'm saying? Denny got in. Denny started playing D. And speaking of Denny, I really like Denny. I just said that. I like Denny tonight, man. I like Denny tonight because his defense. A revelation. I think Denny has, we don't want to speak too soon. Let's not speak too soon. Because throwing this label on somebody is a high praise, y'all. High praise, like in the NBA. To call somebody a lockdown defender in the NBA, you got to, he's been the last couple of games, he's been showing that's what we got to see more. We got to see more to actually, right now we can pencil it in, lightly pencil, you know what I'm saying? We can't use the Sharpie, we can't use the pen to pin lockdown defender on paper. But right now we can put it in pencil just in case we need to erase it later down the season. You know what I'm saying? But man, he showed a lot tonight, man. He locked it, like I said, Kemba Walker going crazy, scoring 28 points in the first half. Even scoring in the third quarter. But when coach said, Denny, get him, he scored a little bit, but he was not nearly as effective as he was prior to Denny being on him. And then Julius Randle started to get hot in the fourth quarter. So coach said, all right, Denny, you handle him. We need you to handle Randle now. So he was guarding a point guard. Then he goes and handles a 3/4. So basically he showed he could guard 1 through 4 at least. You know what I'm saying? Very effectively. Not he can hold, like being, give spot minutes on defense while somebody's resting or people in foul trouble. So let's just have him on him just for a couple. No, he was actually causing havoc. You're not scoring. You need to pass the ball one-on-one. Sometimes it was a double team. But he was extremely impressive tonight, man. Back-to-back impressive games by Denny. And not to mention the scoring, not to mention the passing, the IQ, making the right plays. He's becoming a pro right in front of our eyes. You know what I mean? Like, last season, people was down on him. They was like, I don't know about him. But I saw flashes. Man. But I didn't know. Even defensively, but I wasn't like, he's going to turn into the defender he's becoming. I didn't see that last season. I'm going to keep it a buck. I did not see that last season, man. But he showed a lot tonight, man. He showed a lot. He's a key piece to whatever we're trying to do. And I like that he's a young player. And I like that he's only getting better. Because it's still semi-early in the season. You know what I mean? It's becoming Christmas. So that's like in a sense, like the third way mark until All-Star game. You know what I mean? All-Star game is when, after All-Star game, things ramp up. So we really want to see how we look after All-Star game. But right now, we're developing the chemistry and finding out who the right players to put on the court at the right time. So I like what I'm seeing, and I like what I saw from Denny tonight, man. Neto also came off the bench, gave us a big spark. You know what I'm saying? And again, in the fourth quarter, he balled out. Harold. Again, our bench, man, our bench was so key tonight. Our bench was so key. And players that would usually come off the bench were also so key tonight. All 5 starters scored in double figures tonight. All 5 starters scored in double figures tonight. You know what I'm saying? 2 of those starters, Holiday and Kispert, are really bench players. Holiday's he's the third point guard. You know what I mean? And even Kispert is like the third 3. He's like the third 3 coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? We're have our full roster. There's going to be nights Kispert's still not going to play. There's still going to be nights Holiday still not. Even though Holiday might play more, has more of a chance to play than Kispert because of being a point guard and just depending on what we need from the point guard position during in any particular game will determine what point guard is in the game. You know what I mean? But just to see the depth of our team, again, we did not have Bradley Beal tonight. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have Bradley Beal. We didn't have KCP. Let's not forget about KCP. We didn't have him either. You know what I'm saying? So for our bench to come in, play well, hold things down, it just shows our depth. You know what I mean? It just shows our depth. What else did I like? So like I said, Harrell, he was just looking like the Harrell that we were seeing earlier in the season, coming off the bench, giving us that spark, that energy, that intimidating factor. You know what I'm saying? That intimidation factor. He was just looking good out there, man. And in the fourth quarter, Neto, Harrell, Denny, really the bench. Really, it was really more just a team effort overall, man. Gafford, too, towards the end of the fourth quarter. But all of these players, man, the fourth quarter, they just locked down defensively. The offense was sharp. The 3 points, the clutch threes Kuzma was making. Like, he has a knack. That's just what he's like. This is what I do. Like, just give me the ball when we need a big shot. I could be having and he had a good game tonight, but I could be having a terrible game. But when the lights are on, we need a big shot. Kuzma is a big time shot maker, man. We have a lot of good pieces on this team this season, man. So I liked how we closed the game. Also, like I said, we were down. They started the first quarter fast, 8-0, but we came back, battled back, bench got in, and we closed the first quarter with an 11-2 run, and we ended the first quarter with a 4-point lead, 31-27. After being down 8-0, quick start, getting punched in the mouth, but didn't get knocked down, didn't get knocked out, you know what I'm saying? Came back and and right then, that first quarter let me know that we have a good chance of winning this game tonight. You know what I'm saying? Because they're playing with so much confidence. And so I just like what I saw. Also, man, throughout the first half, they shot over 50%, you know what I mean, from the field. And I want to see, hold on, I just want to see one thing. We ended up shooting 56% from the field. Not 75% from the line, and that's a lot to do with Dinwiddie missing free throws, so that's not really too good. And 43% from the three-point line. Again, we are one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league. So for us to have a good shooting night from the three-point line and then shoot 56% from the floor for the game, I mean, that's a win. Those are winning stats right there. So I definitely like seeing that, man. The team also had 17 first half assists. That means the ball was moving. Good shots were being taken. Good shots were being made. You know what I mean? It was a team effort tonight, man. It was a team effort. Just like the way that's the way we have to play in order for us to be the most effective that we could be. We have to play that way all the time. That's how we were playing earlier in the season. So we got away from that in the stretch where we were looking bad, but it looks like we're getting back to the fundamentals of the philosophy of our team. You know what I mean? So, you know, that we're going to have ups and downs. You know what I mean? It's just like the stock market. Sometimes it's going to be down, even for long, extended periods of time. But you don't know with a basketball team. You know what I'm saying? But let's just say, for the sake of argument, you know that they're going to be down and they're going to be up because they show flashes of being up. You know what I mean? So you knew they weren't as bad as they were, and they probably weren't as good as they were when they were 10-3. So, you know, I like what's going on. 17 assists in the first half. They just got to keep that up. And, you know, so I said earlier that the Knicks went into halftime with the lead after we took the lead in the first quarter. But to our credit, we came out in the third quarter, started with a 10-2 run, got us right back in the game. Again, things that we saw earlier in the season. We were down a lot earlier in the season going into the halftime, and then coming out in the third quarter, first couple minutes, we battled right back, and we tied the game or take the lead within 2, 3, maybe 4 minutes. You know what I mean? So It was good to see. I mean, it's never good to be down ever. I don't ever want to be down, but there's going to be times where we're going to be down going into halftime. But for them to come out and just get the game back to tie and basically 0-0, and let's see who wins from here. I like that they have that resilience. They showing that time and time again. They just been off, but they're getting. It looks like they're getting their groove back. They look like they're getting their groove back, man. So I definitely like what I saw. Gafford with the energy starting the second half, man. Definitely those dunks. Gafford and Harrell, again, I like both of them. They're just undersized centers. But even Thomas Bryant, when he gets back, all three of those centers have a lot of energy, man. A lot of energy, especially after they dunk. And their energy is the type of energy that flows to the rest of the team, man. So I really like what we bring from the center position, even though, like, if you compare us to the rest of the league, I think we're maybe a little bit above average. When Thomas Bryant gets back, we're a little bit above average based on the intensity that our centers play with. You know what I'm saying? To make up for the lack of skill, the lack of size that other centers have throughout the league. You know what I mean? We're decent at the center position. I mean, we're not big, but we have people that can score, can block shots, can rebound the ball. So, we're okay at the center position. And Gafford, he definitely set the tone. Another thing that I saw tonight, man, and we need to see more of if he wants to be on the floor, is Bertans, man. He was rebounding, like boxing out, playing physical, stripping the ball, making key plays. Like, he made a three. I think he made 1 or 2 threes tonight. But he was out there actually being effective tonight, man. Not wasting space. Still, he's not the best defender. But it's about technique sometimes. And maybe it's like Coach, and that's why I think I like Coach Unseld, man, because he just seeing the improvement in the things that the team does, game in, game out, like players that have been struggling, but then they improve in certain areas. The areas are areas that we all said that, they need to get better. Like Bertans, you got to bring something to the table. You got to do something outside of shooting bad three-point shots when you're on the floor. So it just looks like, Coach, look, man, you could contribute and probably worked on his boxing out and just the fundamentals because he was effective tonight. I didn't notice him on the floor until he made shots or got a rebound. So that's a good thing because you usually notice Bertans on the floor when the other team is just scoring. You know what I mean? Like, he gets on the floor and now the other team goes on a run. So it didn't really happen like that tonight, man. So I definitely like that he's bringing more to the table and slowly but surely just getting better and finding a way to contribute when he's on the floor. I definitely like that, man. Again, man, our fourth quarter defense definitely locked down. Definitely locked down fourth quarter defense tonight. When we needed to win the game, again, man, I keep saying it. It's just looking like we're getting back to the Wizards that we were seeing when things were all rosy, when things were all good. You know what I mean? They're getting back to those fundamentals. If you had it before, you could have it again. You know what I'm saying? And they're beginning to realize that, man. And this was all done, I got to emphasize this, without Bradley Beal playing tonight. You know what I mean? So I definitely like our fourth quarter defense. And then also, we were 5 for 7 from the three-point line in the fourth quarter when it mattered the most. Fourth quarter is not how you start, it's how you finish. And we made some big three-pointers at the end of the fourth quarter. Really closed the game out with offense and defense, man. It was a great team effort tonight, man. A great team effort. Yeah. So I definitely, that's everything I like. So there's been a question that during this game, like I said, man, watching Spencer Dinwiddie play well. He plays well when Bradley Beal's not on the floor. And when Bradley Beal's on the floor, we're like, what's going on? Put him on the bench. He don't even need to be, man, we need to cut him. We need to get rid of him. You know what I mean? So it was like, it's perplexing. It's like, why does he play better with, so far this season? Why? You know what I'm saying? And really, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but I have a theory, though. I have a theory, right? And what I think is that Dinwiddie is the type of person, because I think it's a personality thing. I think Dinwiddie is the type of person that is best when he's the lead person, yo. Like, there's just some people that are natural born leaders, and they're their most effective selves when they are the number one option or the leader or whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? They have people with those type of personalities have a hard time ceding to somebody else. You know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? Just some people just have that type of personality, because if you remember, Dinwiddie's best season was when he was with the Nets, and he was the Nets' best player when he had his best season that showed that he could be like all-star game. Like, you know what I'm saying? The reason why we were excited to get him after trading Westbrook, you know what I'm saying? Because he showed potential. But he was the best player on the floor for the Nets when he was like showing that potential. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's just, you know, having a struggle, you know, deferring and finding his rhythm. You know what I'm saying? But what I think needs to happen, what's going to happen is, you know, obviously they're going to play more. They're going to get better chemistry. And once Beal gets back, they're just going to play better. I just believe they're going to, you know, learn each other. And I really believe that the Utah game, winning against a quality team like Utah, in Utah, because the Wizards had problems winning in Utah. So for us to win in Utah the way that we did really brought that confidence back. And really was like, yo, this is how we have to play to win games. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that what's going to happen is Bradley Beal and Spencer Dinwiddie are going to get more comfortable playing with each other. And eventually they're going to mesh. But what Spencer Dinwiddie has to recognize is it doesn't matter what it is. You got to play better when Beal's on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Somehow he has to tell himself he's the best player on the floor. And then also coach can help by, you know, staggering minutes. Like there's a time when Beal's the lead on the floor and Dinwiddie's on the bench, and Dinwiddie's the lead on the floor and Beal's on the bench. And Untitled has been doing that, but Dinwiddie wasn't playing well when Beal's actually playing in the game. It's like Dinwiddie plays well when not Beal's not on the floor, but when he's just not playing. You know what I'm saying? So ultimately he has to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? He has to figure that out and play the way he had 12 assists tonight. 12 assists, and we didn't have a full complement of players. You need to have 12 assists with Beal on the floor. If Beal on the floor, you could have 15, 16 assists. You got to make the game easier for him and still play with that aggressiveness, getting to the hole. He got to the hole. He hit big threes that he was hitting earlier in the season. He's shown flashes, but he hasn't been consistent enough for a lot of people's liking, including myself. But tonight, minus those damn free throws, you know what I'm saying? Minus missing free throws, he played an outstanding game, and a very outstanding game. And that's the type of game we need from him, with Beal scoring 29 and 30 points with also 5 rebounds, 5 assists a game. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need from both of them for us to be a formidable team in the East, man. But, yo, that's everything I like, man. It was a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole lot of things I like, man. And then, and another thing, another revelation. One more revelation I realized tonight. Was tonight, man. This season has been a crazy season, man, with this health and safety protocols. Teams have to sign different players, 10-day contracts, things of that nature to be able to, have a complete roster. What this shown me so far this season is that, well, I already knew this, but this has just solidified my position, is that, the Wizards are deep. You know what I mean? They have a deep team. Now, their top player or players aren't as good as the top players on other teams in the NBA. You know what I mean? They're not like, the Giannis. Like I said, Beal's our best player. Beal's not a Giannis. He's not a LeBron. Not a KD. He's a good, very good player. You know what I mean? A very, very good player. Maybe next tier under those players. You know what I'm saying? Very good player. Dinwiddie is a very quality point guard, but he's not elite. Like, he's not elite yet. Like, he's shown flashes and shown potential that he could be an elite point guard, but he's only had like maybe 1.5 very good seasons. You know what I'm saying? So he has a lot to prove as well. But he's still a quality player, quality guard. But for us to be able to weather storms out of, KCP not playing, Beal not playing, Rui hasn't played yet this season, Thomas Bryant hasn't played yet this season. there's been players in and out, and we had to replace them with players that we already have on the team. We didn't have to sign players from a 10-day contract to fill a roster spot and stuff like that. We have enough depth already on the team. And not to mention what we probably have in the G League. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got players in the G League we could call up if necessary. So we got to give the front office some credit, man. You know what I'm saying? We had a slump. There's been a slump. You know what I'm saying? But it looks like we're getting our legs back. We're getting our mind right. And we're going right back in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So just to see that depth when things get hard, next man up mentality, and playing not just good, but very well. Kispert again had his career at 20 points, hitting threes. You saw the confidence. You saw like, yo, I'm getting better. I'm feeling like I'm supposed to be out here. You could see players like him getting better, man. So I just like what we have going on, man. And I really like what we did tonight in New York, man. You know what I'm saying? We got another big win. Big win. So that's all I got for y'all tonight, though, man. You know what I'm saying? Really good game. You know, really, really good game. You know what I'm saying? Optimism is up again. You know what I mean? Still in the playoff spot, not on the play-in spot. You know, above 500. You know, it's looking up, man. We just got to keep going. Just keep going. Keep playing the same offense. Crisp passing. Play for one another. And that crisp defense. That tough defense. You know, trapping their star players. Making the right reads. Putting the right players in at the right time. You know, we just got to continue what has been going on, man. So anyway, y'all. If y'all like what y'all saw tonight, man, I would really appreciate if you guys subscribe to the channel at the Wizards Review on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook as well. And you can follow me, King Ade DMV, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the Xbox Series X and S or the NBA 2K22. You know what I mean? So anyway, man, that's my time. Enjoy the win, soak it up, bask in the glory. You know any New York friends, go talk to them, holler at them. Ask them if they saw the game tonight. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, till next time, man, take care. Peace.